Your mind races from one worry to the next. You try to sleep, but your thoughts spiral into an endless loop of what-ifs. Sound familiar? Overthinking traps millions in mental prisons of their own making. I spent years caught in this cycle, analyzing every conversation, decision, and possible future outcome until I was exhausted. The human brain processes about 6,000 thoughts daily. For overthinkers, many of these thoughts are repetitive worries that serve no purpose except to drain mental energy. This isn't just annoying, it's harmful to your well-being. The cost of overthinking is steep. A University of Michigan study found that chronic overthinkers were more likely to develop anxiety, depression, and sleep problems. Your mental health suffers when you can't shut off your internal dialogue. I remember lying awake at 3 a.m. before an important presentation. My mind created elaborate disaster scenarios, forgetting my lines, being laughed at, losing my job. None of those things happened. I gave a solid presentation the next day, though I was exhausted from my sleepless night of worry. The brain evolved to protect us from dangers. Your ancestors survived by anticipating threats. The problem is that your brain applies the same threat detection system to modern situations where physical danger isn't present. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a tiger attack and public speaking anxiety. It activates the same stress response. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman explains this in his book, Thinking, Fast and Slow. He describes two systems of thought, System 1 fast, intuitive, and System 2 slow, analytical. Overthinkers get stuck in System 2, analyzing situations that don't require such deep analysis. The path out of overthinking begins with recognizing what's happening. Your thoughts are not facts. They're mental events that come and go. The moment you start to observe your thinking process rather than being swept away by it, you gain power over it. One technique that changed my approach comes from Stoic philosophy. Epictetus taught that we should focus only on what we can control. Most overthinking centers on things beyond our control, other people's opinions, future outcomes, past mistakes. When you notice yourself spiraling, ask, is this within my control? If not, practice the mental discipline of letting it go. This isn't easy. Your brain resists. It believes that thinking more about a problem will solve it. Sometimes that's true, but often it's not. Psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema found that overthinking problems rarely leads to solutions. It just intensifies negative emotions. Try this exercise next time your thoughts spin out of control. Set a timer for 2 minutes and write down everything you're worried about. When the timer stops, ask yourself which worries you can act on right now. For those you can address, make a simple plan. For the rest, practice accepting uncertainty. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality as it is, including the fact that you can't control everything. This concept appears in many wisdom traditions and modern therapeutic approaches like acceptance and commitment therapy. The mind loves certainty. Humans hate not knowing. This desire for certainty drives much of our overthinking. We believe if we think hard enough, we can eliminate uncertainty and prepare for every possibility. This is an illusion. Life is inherently uncertain. Mark Manson captures this in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Duck. I can say the full title as I will be flagged. When he writes about the paradox of certainty, the more you chase certainty, the more insecure you feel. True security comes from becoming comfortable with uncertainty. Another powerful approach comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. Your thoughts create feelings, which drive behaviors. By identifying distorted thought patterns, you can interrupt this cycle. Common distortions include catastrophizing, assuming the worst possible outcome; black and white thinking, seeing situations as all good or all bad; mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking; fortune telling, believing you can predict negative outcomes. When you catch yourself in these patterns, challenge them with evidence. Ask, what facts support this thought? What facts contradict it? What's a more balanced view? Meditation teaches the skill of watching thoughts without attaching to them. Start with just 5 minutes daily of sitting quietly and observing your thoughts as they come and go. Don't judge or analyze them, just notice. This creates mental space between you and your thoughts. Physical movement breaks thought loops. When you notice overthinking, stand up and move your body. Take a walk, stretch, or jump in place. The physical action interrupts mental patterns and brings you back to the present moment. Sometimes overthinking stems from decision fatigue. Barack Obama famously limited his wardrobe choices to reduce decision fatigue. Try simplifying recurring decisions in your life. Create routines that eliminate the need to overthink daily choices. Sleep deprivation worsens overthinking. Your tired brain loses the ability to regulate emotions and thinking. Prioritize sleep hygiene, consistent bedtimes, screen-free evenings, and a cool, dark bedroom can improve sleep quality. Social connection helps break thought spirals. Sharing your thoughts with a trusted friend often reveals their irrationality. The act of verbalizing worries puts them in perspective. One of my favorite techniques comes from psychologist Martin Seligman. When caught in negative thinking, ask yourself 3 questions. Is this thought permanent? Is it pervasive? Is it personal? Recognizing that most negative situations are temporary, specific rather than universal, and not entirely your fault helps break catastrophic thinking. Time boundaries also help. Set a specific time limit for thinking about a problem, perhaps 15 minutes. Use that time to actively problem solve, not ruminate. When the time ends, move on to something else. Many overthinkers are perfectionists. They believe that thinking more will lead to perfect decisions and outcomes. Perfectionism is a trap. As Voltaire said, "Perfect is the enemy of good." Except that good enough is often the best approach. Next time you face a decision and find yourself overthinking, try the October 10th, 10 rule from Susie Welch. Ask yourself, how will I feel about this decision 10 minutes from now? 10 months from now? 10 years from now? This perspective cuts through momentary anxiety. Remember that your brain's job is to generate thoughts. You don't have to believe every thought it produces. Thoughts are suggestions, not commands. You get to decide which ones deserve your attention. The skill of letting thoughts go takes practice. Like any skill, it improves with repetition. Don't expect immediate mastery. Be patient with yourself as you learn to recognize and release unproductive thinking. Overthinking often reflects deeper fears, fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty. Acknowledging these underlying fears can reduce their power. Name the fear directly. "I'm afraid of being rejected," is more manageable than 1,000 swirling thoughts about a social interaction. Your worth isn't measured by your productivity or perfection. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be human. Embracing this truth frees you from the prison of overthinking. The goal isn't to eliminate all analytical thinking. Strategic planning and careful consideration have their place. The goal is to think in proportion to the situation's importance and your ability to influence outcomes. Next time your mind races, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Does it serve me? If not, visualize it floating away like a leaf on a stream. Then return your attention to the present moment, the only place where you can take meaningful action. Your thinking patterns were formed over years. They won't change overnight. But with consistent practice of these techniques, you'll find yourself spending less time in mental loops and more time fully engaged in your life. That's the ultimate goal, not a perfectly quiet mind, but a mind that serves you rather than controls you.